The latest political stories from across the globe.
Many Palestinians, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, are forced off their land by that conflict. So one starting fact is 5.9 million Palestinians are refugees.
But what we don't realize is that what's happening in the Congo is happening in your backyard as well. 6 million people, over 6 million people have died in the Congo because it's the same conflict, right? In the DRC, we have militia groups, we have neighborhood countries, but why are they fighting? Why people die is to get control of our resources.
Join me, Maryann Okon, as we dive deep into the most pressing issues, uncovering the truth and analyzing the impact on a global scale. From the corridors of power in Washington to the bustling streets of Accra, we've got you covered. We'll take you on a journey through different political systems, exploring the challenges and triumphs of the nations near and far. Hear from world leaders, experts, newsmakers, and everyday citizens as they share their perspective, providing a comprehensive overview of the political landscape. Tune in every Thursday, 4 to 5 p.m. on Hard Facts to be a part of the global conversation on 99.3 Nigeria in. Welcome to Hard Facts. This is Global Review. 11 minutes gone past the 4 o'clock hour. I did promise you that we're going to be talking a bit about what's happening in Cameroon. The BBC Africa Eye brought out a report about the violent crisis in the Cameroon. I know we've spoken about it briefly before, but my guest is from Cameroon. He has reported on the crisis in Cameroon. In fact, the title of this report is The Land That Bleeds. And this is a production of the BBC's Africa Eye. It explores the human cost of violent crisis in Cameroon. My guest is Blaise Ayong. He is a BBC Africa correspondent and reporter and presenter. He wears many hats. Blaise, it's so good to have you join us on Global Review on Hard Facts. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Lovely. I want to start by giving my audience a picture of what's happening in Cameroon, and that I lifted the first few things you said in that report, and I just want to play it to the hearing of the audience, and then you'd paint us a picture of what you've seen play out in Cameroon. So let's take a listen to that first, and then we'll come back to the conversation.
A conflict is raging in Cameroon, one the outside world barely knows exists. It's primarily a battle between Cameroon security forces and armed separatists in the country's two English-speaking regions. A conflict that, in 8 years, has killed over 6,000 and forced hundreds of thousands from their homes. A conflict that has subjected Anglophones like myself to property destruction, unlawful killings, rapes, adoptions, and much more. Both the Cameroonian authorities and armed Anglophone separatist groups have fought hard to silence journalists in their reporting. The unrest started in 2016 when people began protesting against the conditions facing the Anglophone minority in this Francophone-dominated country.
I just wanted us to have a picture of what he's going to be telling us about in this report. Blaise, I know that you are obviously from the English-speaking part of Cameroon, and you and I have had conversations about some of the things that have been happening in Cameroon. And I just told my listeners that Nigeria is also feeling the brunt of what's happening in, southern Cameroon, because we have more and more displaced people coming across the borders. Paint a picture to us as to why the BBC was interested in this particular report.
I think it's an important story. As you know, Africa Eye does a lot of this kind of interesting documentary films, that will interest the African audience, but also even people outside Africa. It's an important story because obviously, like you heard in our report, about 6,000 people have been killed. As a result of the conflict. And as you mentioned, there are a lot of refugees that have crossed over to Nigeria and stay in host communities there. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why the BBC Africa Eye felt that it was an important story for us to tell. And also, I think before now, no one has told the story the way the BBC did. If you look online, you would not see a comprehensive report as we did. So we managed to do something exclusive. The allegations in the film are not new. However, we showed, what a lot of people have not been able to show. That's what the BBC Africa Eye was managed to do.
Many people, this part of the world, don't necessarily understand why there is a crisis between the French-speaking Cameroonians and the English-speaking Cameroonians, and why there's this much killing. Now, we're not new to communal clashes and, tribal, issues, but then the fact that there's so many people being killed, and it seems like the government seems to be quiet about it, is underreported. It calls for questions. So I'm asking, what exactly is the reason for that fight?
So Cameroon was previously a German colony, and after the First World War, when the Allied powers defeated the Germans, so Cameroon was partitioned between the British and the French. And so what we mostly call the Anglophone part of the English-speaking part of Cameroon was administered by the British, and the French part, as we know it today, was administered by the French, governed from Paris. And so after independence in 1961, when there was a referendum for the English-speaking part of Cameroon to reunite and join the French-speaking region, since after independence, the Anglophones have felt marginalized because obviously the Anglophones are the minority. So the Anglophone regions of Cameroon are just two regions, Northwest and Southwest. And so they are the minority. The country is mainly French. So they have felt marginalized economically, with the laws, with educations. And so in 2016, lawyers and teachers began a protest. They began protesting what they perceive as the marginalization of the Anglophone minority. They complained that French-speaking judges were sent to courtrooms in the Anglophone areas. French-speaking teachers were sent to teach in the Anglophone areas, and also the complaint about the economic structure of the country, and felt that, according to the allegations, they felt that the Anglophones were not getting their fair share of the national cake. There were other protesters who also complained and made mention that most of the position in government were occupied by the mainly predominantly Francophone part of the country. And so this street protest began in 2016, but they were met with violence. So Cameroonian security forces arrested protesters, beat up protesters, sent people to prison, including one of the people we interviewed in the film, the lawyer. And so that gave birth to a rise of a more radical group of Anglophones who said, according to the claims they made, that they have not been able to achieve anything by protest, so they're going to pick up arms. And so that's how we find ourselves where we are now. So
if I'm not mistaken, it's the failure of the governments to address the claims or the worries and the concerns of the Anglophone part of Cameroon that led to this crisis. Now, I went to school with a Cameroonian who's continuously written about these killings. He says his wife and his children are in prison. He fled to Uganda. He was my classmate in Uganda. And I also know about a story that we reported widely here in Nigeria, where the government of Cameroon came here and took, I think, 3 or 4 professors unceremoniously and took them back there, and they did this in collaboration with our government. I'm going somewhere. Why do you think that the governments across the ECOWAS part of part of West Africa have not necessarily taken up this issue? I'm sure in your report you have talked about, the government's handling of the issue. I've seen, you made mention of security forces, the role that they've played. Why do you think that ECOWAS generally silent about this crisis?
I think because politically Cameroon is not within ECOWAS. Cameroon is in the region called CEMAC. Yes, it's so the for Central, kind of a grouping of Central African states, and grouping Cameroon is the leading voice, and within CEMAC. So Cameroon is paired with Chad, with Central African Republic, with Gabon, and these are countries that have their own fair share of problems. And so Cameroon is seen as a big brother, and therefore, Cameroon has a louder voice within CEMAC. And I think because Cameroon does not belong to ECOWAS.
But then there's African Union. There's the African Union.
Yeah, I think in our film we mentioned that the African Union's Commission for Human Rights at the time of the protest came out with a report stating that Cameroonian security forces had used excessive force against the civilians who were protesting. But you know that also Nigeria, for example, our closest neighbors, have their own fair share of a secessionist movement, the IPOP, the Biafra people, and these are just a community that's across the border, close to Cameroon. And so I think in my opinion, I think Cameroon would not, Nigeria would not want to help, for example, separatists in Cameroon, because again, then Cameroon can leave Cameroon as a breeding ground for Nigerian separatist IPOP to operate. As you mentioned, the case when several separatist leaders were arrested in Abuja and they were sent to Cameroon. Cameroonian separatist leaders were arrested at some point in Nigeria and they sent to Cameroon, and they're now in prison. So instead, the Cameroonian government has worked closely with the Nigerian government to kind of crush the separatist movement here. But other West African states have largely not been involved in any of the issues concerning the separatist movement.
I love that this report is out there, and I want people to go watch it. It's on the BBC Africa Eye handle on YouTube. Go click on it and watch, because we don't have too much time to talk to Blaze. But I love that this video has been put out. What impact do you think this will make for those of us who, aside from me, who knows what's happening in Cameroon, for those who do not know, what do you think the impact of this report will be across the world?
I think it brings a clearer picture of what is happening in Cameroon. I think a few people, a couple of people know that there's conflict in Cameroon. Not quite a lot of people have heard of it. Since after the release of our film, I've had messages from people across the world saying they did not know about this conflict because it's largely underreported. But I think what our film would do or is doing is that it's shedding fresh light into what's happening in Cameroon. The BBC is a big platform, and so a lot more people would get to know what's happening. And hopefully that would help in policy change, in decision making at some point. But I think as journalists, our job is to bring these things to light. Again, not to beat our drum too much. So far, we've been one of the very few people that have made a very comprehensive film, and we've told the film through the eyes of the local people who suffer from the conflict that's happening in Cameroon.
Blaze, I have just 1 minute, but before we go, I know that you also have shared in that report that you've lost, a lot to the crisis, especially the fact that there's a crackdown on journalists. How have you survived this long?
I think I've just I've done like every other journalist would do. I've stayed neutral. I've reported frankly, and yeah, I think I'm still here. So I don't know if I have any strategy that's kept me to survive.
You just kept your head low. You just stayed low. Yes.
I think I'm very resilient. I think I mentioned that in the report that journalists and being. It's difficult for journalists to operate and report the conflict. But again, I would not let that intimidate me.
Blaze Young works for the BBC, and his report on the BBC Africa Eye is on the crisis and the conflict which has obviously bedeviled the southern part of Cameroon. I want you to go catch that report on the BBC Africa Eye. It's called The Land That Bleeds, and it explores the human cost of the violent crisis in the Cameroon. Thank you so much, Blaze, for coming on the show. We appreciate you. Keep up the good work.
Merci. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Lagos, we're going to go on a quick break. And when we come back, it's still Global Review. Stay with us. When you come, you can ask questions. Unfortunately, we have to let Blaze go. But let's continue to converse about what's happened in southern Cameroon after the break. Stay with us.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Attention, Airtel customers. If your line has been blocked, then this is for you. Head to the nearest Airtel shop with your NIN. Our friendly staff will help you get your line back up and running. Don't let a blocked line keep you out of touch.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
For 3 great seasons, the fans have fought with passion and fire, their best they brought. The banter was bold, the debates were tight, each word a weapon, each match a fight. But now it's bigger, the stakes much higher, the battle returns and it's full of fire. Fan Battle 4 with Femi and the gang on 99.3 Nigeria Info. The stage is bang. In partnership with Sports Salon, we raise the game with glory, honor, and a shot at fame. Think you've got what it takes to score? And step right up. It's time for more.
Fan Battle 4 starts Tuesday, June 3rd through July from 7 p.m. weekdays on Nigeria Info.
Fan Battle 4. Let the battle begin.
If the world was ending, I wanna be next.
It is an incontrovertible fact that the future of power is solar. It is becoming increasingly clear that solar is the way to go if reliable, clean, and uninterrupted power is our goal. Our homes need power, our offices need power, our public buildings need power, our lives and activities need power, and of course, I mean reliable power. Now, at the Solar World Electric Technology Limited, we have cut our teeth as professionals in the business of solar and renewable energy, ranging from inverters, lithium-ion batteries, solar panels, solar water heating systems, solar street lights, etc. You can visit our office at the Seco Mall, 5th Roundabout, Lekki Epe Expressway, Jakonde, Lagos, or our website on www.solarworldelectric.com, or you can call us on 0906 331 5492. Solar World Electric Technology Limited. We are redefining the limits.
This taste na banger, this taste na creamy rich, this taste na new Nescafe, original 3-in-1. Thickness, enjoyment, yumminess, happiness, delightfulness, deliciousness, smoothness. This taste na new Nescafe, original 3-in-1.
Enjoy more creamy richness with the new Nescafe Original 3-in-1 in the new pack. That's strong, finish strong.
Every day is about winning with one play on Nigeria Info. On Nigeria Info, daily winnings is now over 150,000 naira. Just go to oneplay.ng or dial *347 *880 *3#. Play with as little as 500 naira, and in a few seconds, your ticket is in the draw. The more you play, the better your chances of winning every day on the Morning Crossfire, WhatsApp Lagos, and Game On shows on weekdays, and the Football Frenzy shows on weekends. But that's not all. Every Friday, there will be a 500,000 naira jackpot. Playing during the week automatically qualifies you for the weekly jackpot. Your chances of winning are the same whether you play on oneplay.ng or dial *347 *880 *3#. Remember to play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18. OnePlay is a registered trademark under Lasho Trading Services Limited, licensed by the Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Commission.
Success is like a big mansion. You only see the magnificent edifice, not the strong foundation that holds it. Likewise, in the world of e-payments, you only see transactions done and funds remitted. But who pioneered these financial technology solutions? Well, you knew it as Value Card, now Unified Payments, Nigeria's premier financial technology service provider. Yes, it starts here. Find out more at www.up-ng.com.
Unified Payments. Unifying businesses for people.
Shalatam, quality anti-malaria, contains Artemisa and lumefantrine, available in cherry-flavored dispersible tablets with very convenient dosing for kids. Shalatam is also available in tablets for adults. Knock out malaria in 3 days with Shalatam from Shalina Healthcare. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor.
Shalatam is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
Exciting games, music, dance, and fun for every family.
Join us for the second edition of the Kids FM Festival, happening June 1st, 2025 at Balmoral Convention Center, Lagos, 12 p.m. sharp.
Don't miss the fun! Don't miss the fun! Bring your brothers and sisters, your daddy and mommy, even your uncles and aunties to join this exciting moment. Even your friends aren't left out. It's the Kids FM Festival. Let's make memories that sparkle!
Register now at www.kidsfm.ng. Let the countdown begin. Proudly brought to you by Kids FM, where every kid's a star.
Join Africa's top decision makers at Scofex Nigeria exhibition, co-located with Toys and Games Expo, the leading platform for stationery, school and office equipment. Come and meet manufacturers of pens, pencils, markers, art and craft, toys and games, notebooks and diaries, IT and computing, office machines, among other office materials. Date 29 to the 31st of May 2025. Venue Landmark Center, Victoria Island, Lagos. Registration is free. Visit www.scofex.com to register.
For 3 great seasons, the fans have fought with passion and fire. Their best they brought. The banter was bold, the debates were tight. Each word a weapon, each match a fight. But now it's bigger, the stakes much higher. The battle returns, and it's full of fire. Grand Battle 4 with Femi and the gang on 99.3 Nigeria Info. The stage is bang. In partnership with Sports Salon, we raise the game with glory, honor, and a shot at fame. Think you've got what it takes to score? Then step right up. It's time for more.
Fan Battle 4 starts Tuesday, June 3rd through July from 7 p.m. weekdays on Nigeria Info.
Fan Battle 4. Let the battle begin.
Start your children's day with a great taste of Ovaltine, enriched with multi-nourishment, calcium, malt, and vitamin B12 to support learning and playtime. Ovaltine, smart choice for smart kids.
Everyone says I'm beautiful and bold. They say I'm fashionable, and to crown it up, very confident. And my secret is...
People say I'm good looking, funny, hardworking, and to crown it up, very confident. And my secret is...
So whether in the office or at home,
in the streets or on the dance floor,
anytime, any day, I never lose my confidence. And the secret to my confidence is Wazobia perfume.
Absolutely. Wazobia perfume gives the authenticity and long-lasting fragrance all day. That's my secret confidence.
Wazobia perfume is available in body spray.
Also available in supermarkets and markets near you. Wazobia perfume, the correct scent.
When it comes to winning, I get power plenty.
The power to win bigger than your hand with BetKing Bet Builder. Download BetKing app. Register with promo code FreeBets. Make you enjoy 100 Naira instant bonus. Terms and conditions apply. Not for persons under 18 years. Play responsibly.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development. and the care they need with the new NanKid 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics to help your child's digestion and development, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. And all of these work together to support your child's development and growth today and tomorrow. NanKid 4. Nourish your child's potential.
Hello, Mrs. Martins.
Yes. Oh, Mrs. Johnson, how may I help you?
Junior's body temperature is high and he's complaining about headaches and body aches.
Not to worry. Get Bruston and suspension.
Okay, ma. I'll call you back.
Bruston and Suspension for Children is a sweet-tasting brand of ibuprofen which provides relief against toothache, pains, and fever in children after 30 minutes.
Hello, ma. Oh, Junior, stop that.
Is everything okay, Mrs. Johnson?
Yes, ma. Junior is fine now. In fact, Junior, sorry, ma. I'll call you back.
Brustin and Suspension for Children. Always take the product after meal. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor. A quality product from Rambaxay.
All right, class, settle down. Today, let's talk about how you started your day.
We got dressed and had pancakes with John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate for breakfast.
My mom makes John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate for us too.
My mom calls it instant goodness. My sister and I always put it inside our pap. It's so yummy.
John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate is a chocolate drink made of rich cocoa, milk, and sugar. Available nationwide in stores. John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate. Enjoy instant goodness.
Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know? Did you know? Your dose of facts we bet you never knew. Right here on Nigeria Info 99.3.
Did you know that the longest anyone has held their breath underwater is over 24.5 minutes? The world record for breath holding underwater was achieved by Croatian Budimir Sobat on 27 March 2021, who held his breath for a total of 24 minutes and 37 seconds. On average, a human can hold their breath between 30 to 90 seconds.
Another piece of the puzzle now revealed. Keep questioning, keep listening, only on Nigeria Info 99.3.
This Eid, now we'll go enjoy.
Now people will waka enter Grand Square, of course.
From June 2nd, go 7, Grand Square, they run better discounts. We go sweet your belly. Now the Grand Eid Bonanza, discounts full ground like Suya for Ilea.
Special discounts on top brands for foodstuff, electronics, household, and many more. Better enjoyment they involved though.
Now celebration season with sweet savings and up to 60% off on select items.
So make you carry the whole squad. Go Grand Square for Abuja, Ikeja, VI, and Kano.
Grand Square Eid Bonanza. Ilea just got better.
Discounts everywhere. Come shop with no wahala.
From June 2nd to the 7th, you know where to be.
It's Grand Square. Come and shop with glee.
For 3 great seasons, the fans have fought with passion and fire. Their best they brought. The banter was bold, the debates were tight. Each word a weapon, each match a fight. But now it's bigger, the stakes much higher. The battle returns and it's full of fire. Fan Battle 4 with Femi and the gang on 99.3 Nigeria Info. The stage is bang. In partnership with Sports Salon, we raise the game with Gloriana and a shot at fame. Think you've got what it takes to score? Then step right up. It's time for more.
Fan Battle 4 starts Tuesday, June 3rd through July from 7 p.m. weekdays on Nigeria Info.
Fan Battle 4. Let the battle begin.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
Hatchback with Maryann Okon. We'll be right back. This is Hat Fact with Maryann Duke Okon.
It's still Global Review on Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. We just spoke with Blaze Ayong, He is a southern Cameroonian and also a reporter for the BBC Africa. And they just put out a full report about the killings in southern Cameroon. That's the Anglophone part of Cameroon. Now, there's been lots and lots of reports from that part of the country, but then it doesn't get the kind of attention that this report from the BBC has gotten. I've had conversations on the killings in southern Cameroon, the fact that more and more people, displaced persons, are coming into Nigeria through Bakassi. And the Bakassi part of Cameroon, or rather the Bakassi part of Nigeria, is connected to the Anglophone part of Cameroon. So most of the people in those parts, in fact, as a matter of fact, Blaise Young's culture is very similar to mine. The cultural practices in southern Cameroon that's closest to Cross River are very similar. But the crux of the matter is that people are being killed. Government has refused to address the issue head on, meaning that attention is being given to more of the French-speaking people in Cameroon as opposed to those who are non-French speaking. Marginalization is what has led to the situation in Cameroon. But what will it take to put an end to what's happening in southern Cameroon? A beautiful thing that the BBC has done. Blaise has lost family and property to this particular crisis. I have a friend whose family is in prison. His wife and children are in prison. He is a refugee in, I think, Uganda, or he's even moved to Rwanda now, if I'm not mistaken. It's a terrible situation. But what are the lessons we can learn? Because when I was listening to Blaise, I was not necessarily listening to him. I was listening to the messaging of that report, if you follow me. But for those of you who are just joining us, here's a quick clip from that report from the BBC Africa Eye. Take a listen.
A conflict is raging in Cameroon, one the outside world barely knows exists. It's primarily a battle between Cameroon security forces and armed separatists in the country's two English-speaking regions. A conflict that, in 8 years, has killed over 6,000 and forced hundreds of thousands from their homes. A conflict that has subjected Anglophones like myself to property destruction, unlawful killings, rapes, adoptions, and much more. Both the Cameroonian authorities and armed Anglophone separatist groups have fought hard to silence journalists in their reporting. The unrest started in 2016 when people began protesting against the conditions facing the Anglophone minority in this Francophone-dominated country. Since then, it has developed into an all-out conflict, and its impact on ordinary people across the region has been devastating. The conflict that is plaguing the country along its linguistic lines can be traced back to colonialism. Under colonial rule, the region that we today mostly call Cameroon was split in two, with two Anglophone regions, North and South, administered by Britain, and a French territory governed from Paris. In 1961, as independence approached for the Cameroonian territories under British rule, Northern Cameroon voted to join Nigeria, while Southern Cameroonians joined Cameroon. The country began as a federation, but in 1972, it became a unitary state. Since then, Anglophones have felt marginalized by the centralized Francophone government. And in late 2016, peaceful protests began against the creeping use of the Francophone legal system in the region's courtrooms.
It is now more than a month that we have been on strike after having notified the government about our dissatisfaction with the erosion of the common law.
An estimated 5 million Anglophone Cameroonians, about 1/5 of the population, have been dragged into this crisis, caught in the crossfire between Cameroon security forces and the armed separatists. The exact number of separatist fighters is unknown, but it's estimated to be somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000. As the conflict rages, many have no choice but to flee.
Well, that is a little clip from that BBC African Eye report on the crisis in Anglophone Cameroon. Now, of course, a group of people felt marginalized and they called the attention of the government to it. But instead, they were not necessarily addressed, or the issues were not addressed that they should have been. And that led to what we call a crisis today. But what can we in Nigeria as a country learn from what has happened in Cameroon? What is our takeaway? Of course, I did tell you about, I think it was Ireti who had that conversation about some guys who were now professors in our universities who lived here for a while, and then one day, they were just kidnapped by Secret Service and then handed over to the Cameroonian Authority, and they all thrown in jail. These are same separatists, of course. People who are saying, well, we need some form of, we need to be heard. There has to be some sort of equality. We cannot be the underdogs. We didn't even ask for this, There are many angles to this conversation. There are those who would say the West has caused this problem, washed their hands off it, and allowed for these people to suffer. Don't forget, this is details for many other African countries who have been colonized by different people, whether they be the Portuguese, the Spaniards, the Belgians, the British, the French. And there are many who would say that these are the problems of our colonizers, which has now had its rippling effects on the people. I mean, I don't know, but is there something that we can learn from the situation in the Cameroon? 0201-277-0993, 0201-465-7190. Join the conversation. And if you want to watch the full clip, it's on the BBC Africa Eye handle. The title of that report is The Land That Bleeds, and it's been done by Blaze Young, who we just interviewed a few minutes ago. Hello, welcome to Global Review.
Hello, good afternoon, Maryann.
Good evening.
It's a pity. It's very unfortunate. What the conflict we are listening to is caused by the Western imperialist masters, France and the British. Now they allow a genocide to take place in Cameroon between 2016 and now. More than 6,000 innocent souls have perished, and more will still go. Let government. Have I given my name?
No, you didn't.
Yes, Tekubi is my name.
Okay.
Tekubi, I'm calling from Magbon.
Mm-hmm.
These are the scars of our the colonial masters, and it's still raging on. The government has to come in immediately. If not, France and the British colonizers will not do anything.
Well, but all of the things that are happening, the killings, the high-handedness is happening under the watch of the government in Cameroon.
Yes, and they allow this to happen. They allow this, and their people are being killed. And now there's a spillover to Cross River. I am a Cross Riverian. There's a spillover now as the conflict rages on. The people will now be running into Cross River.
But that's what happens when there's a spillover. That's what happens when there's a conflict anywhere. That people would scamper for safety. I want to thank you for calling, but I have to move on to other callers.
No, let me learn. The lesson, Nigeria. Hello.
Go ahead. 10 seconds.
Hello. Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Your line has gone, and I'm so sorry. I wish you could have landed, but thank you very much. Hello. Welcome to Global Review.
Yeah, good evening, Maryann.
Yes, 60 seconds. Go straight to the point, please.
It's Emmanuel. I'm speaking to you from Ekpe.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the president is about 92 years old, if I'm not mistaken. He probably does not know his right from his left again. These people, over there.
But this conflict has been on before he became 92. So he obviously is in the know.
I know, but these people in the West, they will back him, for re-election. People they can't accept, to be their president over there. So I think Africa, especially the youth, needs to sit down, and we need to reshape our thinking, and try to reshape our future.
Okay.
Because these conflicts, they are not needed. How would you explain it? That about 6 million people, more than 6,000 people, has been killed in this conflict. And is there anything? And again, there needs to be an avenue, where people can decide if they want to be on their own, or even stay with them, over there in Kenya.
That's the beginning of this conflict to start with. I've got to go. We have some information to give to you on the 5 o'clock hour. We'll be talking about electoral reforms. I need you all to be part of the conversation. Electoral reforms. My guest is joining us on the 5 o'clock hour. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Lagos, attention HR professionals and business owners. If you don't have a hiring budget, well, no problem, because hiring just got easier and more affordable too through the Young Nigerian Works initiative in partnership with Jobberman and the MasterCard Foundation, equipping young Nigerians with the skills and opportunities for meaningful employment. Now, even if you don't have a hiring budget, you have no problem. You can now list your job vacancies on Jobberman for free. That's right, zero cost and full value. Here, you gain access to over 3 million verified job seekers across Nigeria, smart hiring tools to sort CVs and manage applicants seamlessly, and a free employer profile to boost your organization's visibility. So whether you're growing a business or you're filing for urgent roles, this platform was designed to help you hire better, faster.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info.